Coming back at you again with another video. It is Thursday evening. It's around 6:15, and personally, it's been a nice, comfortable day. No major priorities on my agenda, and just did some things here around the house most of the day. Got a little reading done. I've been reading some history. I've got volume 3 of a 3-part series anthology on the Civil War. I had already read the first 2 volumes many years ago, and I was right around the holiday season this last year, and I just figured that now was as good a time as any for me to sort of dive back into completing the anthology of the Civil War history reading material. So I've been plugging away at that. Each one of these 3 books, it chronologically covers the entirety of the catastrophic and historically significant Civil War that affected all the United States and society and civilization as we know it in the mid-19th century here in the U.S. And, so far I'm about 230 pages, so I'm about a quarter of the way through this volume 3 of the anthology. So, I spent about an hour reading through that earlier today, just from the comforts of the bedroom. Got on the camera and on the microphone with my musical instrument for a few hours. I was doing some studio recording from the spare bedroom that I currently have in my house, and that was pretty productive. I've been doing some of these videos, personal vlogs that I've been posting up onto my YouTube channel, Shaken Soul, which if you haven't, I would please encourage you just to subscribe. Help get my numbers up a little bit here on some of these videos that I've been creating. It'd be extremely helpful and much appreciative. But nonetheless, normally these videos that I'm doing, I'm just simply doing them from this little workspace, this little right here. This workspace that I've developed here in the kitchen. And I have not really done any music recording. I've done some music recording just like from my camera on my phone, but haven't really sort of beefed up the technical aspect of it. So, I got the microphone, I got the video recording software, and plugged it all up in the spare bedroom of the house just earlier today, and spent a few hours working on that. And I still got to tweak some of the settings and
all right,
the
so
audio
this is
and
check
everything
2.
sounding just right.
And wow, we are really coming in loud.
That's just a little bit of a recap of my day. And I did make it out. About 2 hours ago, probably around 4:30, I left the house for the first time of the day and ran over to Chick-fil-A, grabbed myself just a delicious spicy chicken sandwich, deluxe. Sometimes you just got to go with the deluxe. You get that fresh sliced tomato, you get the lettuce, and a piece of pepper jack cheese. It was a really nice tasting sandwich. It came out nice and hot, juicy filet of chicken breast, nice crisp with just the right amount of spice. So it was a good meal. But after I did my Chick-fil-A run, I cruised on down to the local liquor store, and here we are again doing another beer review. So the last beer review that I did was earlier in the week, and we were talking about a Christmas beer. That was by Breckenridge Brewery. If you haven't seen that video, I would say just go back and have a look. It's about 15 minutes in length. Talk a little bit about the tasting notes, the profile of the beer that I was sampling. I also went into a little bit of the backstory of the Breckenridge Brewery. In addition, we looked at the Breckenridge Ski Resort. We looked at their trail map and just kind of did a fun little consideration of what it might be like if you were out there riding the slopes of Breckenridge. So kind of a similar theme, I wanted to talk about another mountainous brewery. This is a brewery from the East Coast out of the state of North Carolina, and Highland Brewery is the one that we're featuring today. Now, Highland Brewing originally is out of Asheville, North Carolina. Highland, I think, is just kind of like the general region of Asheville and like the southern Appalachian area of North Carolina. They call it like just the Highlands. But there also is a town in that southern mountainous area of North Carolina called Highland, North Carolina. And Highland, North Carolina is it's like like a sleepy resort village where they have hotels, bed and breakfasts, some VRBOs, some nice rental cabins. It's just beautiful scenery up there. You're right there, kind of in part of the mountains, and it's a comfortable place just to go and stay for a couple of days. And living in Atlanta, it's only about a 2.5 hour drive to get up there. It's a very easy commute. So whenever I think of this brewery, what we're talking about here, Highland Brewing, I don't really think so much of Asheville, even though Asheville is in fact the town that Highland Brewery is based out of. But normally my mind, it kind of gravitates just to Highland, North Carolina, that nice, sleepy little overnight resort town where people go and stay at the bed and breakfasts and rent a little cabin for a couple of days and just kind of get away from the city, get up into the mountains, and just a great, quick little easy, quick weekend getaway. So that's what we have to say about Highland, North Carolina. And I was at the liquor store, to Greens. I wasn't looking for anything too big. I really wanted just one of those light, like low calorie ABVs, like low ABVs. I'll throw Sweetwater's name out there again because it always seems to be relevant in the context of conversation about beer. But Sweetwater has a really nice low ABV, low calorie IPA, and it's called the Sweetwater Highlight, and it's about 100 calories per can and about 3.7% ABV. It has a nice flavor. You really catch kind of the robust nuance of the hop. It's definitely got more flavor and more of an IPA tasting profile than like a Miller Lite. But at the same time, it's a lot lighter in taste than like your full body IPAs. So, I like to drink those low ABV beers. I can kind of just sip them. I feel like it's just another source of hydration. Kind of keeps me going through the evening. So nonetheless, that was the objective. Just run into Greens real quick, go to the liquor store, grab a 6-pack of these low ABVs. It'll be like $9.75, and then you're out the door. But anyway, I started kind of browsing around like I normally do when I go into my local package store. And coming up after having just done the beer review of the Breckenridge Christmas Ale, I started seeing other Christmas ales that were available. One of the Christmas ales that was available was by a brewery that is local to Atlanta. They're called Wild Leap Brewery. And they had a pretty big, I think it was a Christmas stout is what they were calling it. It was a little bit on the pricier side. It was around $15 for a 6-pack. But I think it was barrel aged, and it was like 9.5% ABV, so it was definitely going to be a full body, just big beer. That was absolute opposite of what I was hoping to get. I was looking for those low ABV, healthier option beers. So I decided I did not want to try the Wild Leap Christmas Stout. Too much for me right now. However, I would like to go back and buy a 6-pack of that beer at some point in the future, assuming that it might still be available in the coming weeks, and then I would love to do a video on the Wild Leap Christmas Porter. But then the second Christmas beers that I saw was by Highland Brewing. So Highland Brewing, they have a Christmas release as well. And Let's see what we can find on that. They have a lot of good releases. I don't see Highland brewing very often in Atlanta. I see it from time to time, but just don't really come across it all that often. And actually, they don't even have their Christmas ale listed here on their spec sheet, which is kind of surprising. But they've got some really nice looking beers. And anyway, I'm interested to give some of these a try. What I have had is this, the oatmeal porter. It's tasty. It's not my favorite porter by any means, but I feel like there's a consistency of ingredients and quality there that I trust and that I like. But anyway, the Christmas beer that they had at the package store, it was like $13. It was a little bit too expensive for me. I didn't want to pay $13 for a 6-pack of beer. So my eyes, they kept peering around the shelves in the refrigerator, and I landed on this one, the seasonal nut and bolts. And these were only $11 for a 6-pack. And so that's what I got. We have the Highland Brewing. We have the Nutz and Volts. Nutz and Volts. So this is exciting. It was $11, $12 for the 6-pack. It's definitely not what I originally intended on purchasing today, but it looked like a really interesting coconut coffee porter, and I just couldn't resist it. I saw the packaging. It's bright. It's funky. It's got some neon pink. It's got the boom blaster. It's got the coconuts and kind of the psychedelic sort of logo all around it, man. So some fun facts about Highland Brewing. Opened up in 1994. They are the largest independently owned brewer in the Southeast. So yeah. All right, it's getting a pretty big head right there. Really wasn't very gentle when I poured that. Normally I like to try to minimize the foam as much as possible, but anyway, it's got a really mocha coffee head, just a nice foamy brown head, and then just a very dark chocolatey stout body. Yeah, you get the coconut, you can smell that right off the bat. Chocolate, just standard, just big boy stout type of beer characteristics are going on here with this Nut and Volts. Smells nice. It's got a really good aroma. Yeah, if it drinks anything like it smells, it's probably going to be a very delicious beer. Nuttiness for sure. You catch that. Let's see if we can drink through this foam. It's going to be a challenge. Whirl it around a little bit. Yo! Ooh, almost spilled some, didn't I? Yeah, it's okay. It's a little bit medium-bodied beer. It doesn't pack a huge flavor punch. I was thinking it might be a little bit more flavorful, a bit more robust. However, it's more medium-bodied, and it seems like there's not a lot of distinguishing characteristics between the different flavors and the taste of this beer. It seems like all the flavors, they just kind of meld together. The finish on it actually is okay. It does have a little bit of like a chicory coffee, almost a slight bitterness that kind of lingers on the back end. I don't, it's not offensive. It's all right. Everything just kind of melds together. It's like a basic coffee coconut porter. Maui Brewing makes something kind of similar to this. If I were just to make a quick comparison, I would say that the coconut porter by Maui Brewing tastes very similar to the Highland Brewing coconut porter. Give it another swig, see what we say on the second part. Yeah, they drink okay for a darker beer. As you can see here, it's only 5.8% ABV. If they barrel aged this for a little while, I bet it would really enhance the taste. If they found just some Four Roses bourbon barrels and let this thing sit in there for a period of time, I bet it would probably enhance the flavor and the profile of this beer significantly. But whatever, it's fun to try. I'll have them around the refrigerator and I'll continue to drink them as long as I've got them. Alright, well thanks for watching my video. If you want to give it a subscribe, add a couple of comments down there below. It would be greatly appreciated. And, I wanted to give a nod again to the winter ski season. This is the North Carolina mountain. This is Sugar Mountain. It's, just about 2 hours north of Asheville. So about a 5-hour drive from Atlanta. And it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to booking a trip for 3 or 4 days, driving up to some of these smaller little resorts that they have in North Carolina, which are really quite accessible. A little bit cheaper to travel up there and buy some lift tickets. I think lift tickets probably cost around $30, $40 a day. Whereas if you go out to Colorado, you're looking at about $100 a day or more. So yeah, there we have it. A nod to North Carolina, a nod to beer, and everything else. Take care.